Hello and welcome to Beyond the Hustle. I'm Alice, a certified NLP mindset and women's health coach, and I'm so beyond excited you're here. This podcast is for the human behind the success, the woman behind the business, behind the grind of building that legacy. Here we dive deep into mindset, rewiring your subconscious mind, nervous system regulation, and energetics. Basically everything that helps you feel grounded and grow sustainably. Whether you're feeling stuck, overwhelmed, burnt out, or ready to step into your next level of success and self, this podcast will give you the tools, insights, and shifts to help you move forward with clarity, calm, and conviction. So if you're ready to stop hustling from fear and finally build success that feels as good as it looks, you're in the right place. Welcome to Beyond the Hustle. Hello, and welcome back to Beyond the Hustle podcast, the podcast for building the human that you are behind the business and behind the success. I really wanted to open up this episode and this conversation for quite a few different reasons, but mainly because I'm seeing a lot of my clients and a lot of women online in my DMs were having the same kind of conversation of, I feel like I'm doing all the right things and it's not working, and I feel like I'm hustling and I'm grinding and putting all this effort and all this time and energy into something and it's not paying off for me. And I think there's like a multitude of reasons as to why, and that's what I really wanted to open this space for, was to actually just have that conversation without any shame, without any like I'm doing something wrong, without placing that blame like on yourself, but actually understanding that it's not necessarily actually a strategy issue. It's not actually something that you are doing wrong, but it's something that you're doing out of protection, out of the need to not fail, out of the desire to not be judged, to not be rejected, and to actually open up the floor for what if it's not actually a strategy problem, but what if it is actually a mindset problem? Because a lot of my clients come to me with what they think is a strategy issue. Oh, I should say this better, or how should I sell? Should I sell in a different way? I feel like I said shell there. Should I sell in a different way? And how should I change up my posts and my content? And oh, what about this offer? And like, how should I do this offer? And what should I change in the strategy for getting more people into this offer? And it's like, 9 times out of 10, it's not actually a strategy problem, it's actually a mindset problem. And when we actually uncover that, when we look at what are the things that you're not doing because you do have this fear underlying, running the show for you, or what is it that you're avoiding or that you're hesitating on, or what is it that you're saying, I don't know to, where you actually do know the answer, you're just afraid of actually standing in that, being standing fully in your full conviction and confidence, that you're then afraid you're going to be judged or like rejected. Like, it actually then gets to be okay that it's a mindset problem, right? And I'm not going to sit here and be like, okay, we're going to fix this by like doing affirmations in the mirror. Absolutely not. Okay, we're not about that. If you know me, I'm not an affirmations kind of girly, okay? Because it's all fine and well to stand in the mirror and say, I'm deserving of success, I am successful, but if you're not walking away changing your actions and changing your habits that are currently sabotaging your success, you're not going to get any more successful. Because I think for one thing, it's like everyone's so quick to say, what do I need to change? What do I need to implement? What do I need to do better? And we're so quick to put the responsibility and the blame onto something external of us, something that works for other people, something that is supposed to generate results, success, sales, whatever it may be, but that isn't working for us. But the problem comes when we then make that, thing that's not working into something that's about us, right? And that's really because underneath that, we actually have already the belief that we're not good enough, or that we're not deserving, or that we're this, we're that, or whatever it may be, right? So we're constantly looking for the evidence of that, right? So as soon as we feel like we're not getting results, we're not getting the sales, we're not getting the clients, it makes sense for us to turn to the strategy, because it's easier for us to sit with, rather than us sitting with the idea that, okay, well, we're actually operating in a way that is sabotaging our success. We're actually operating in a way that is pulling us away from that, desired outcome, that desired result. It's easier to sit with, let's pass responsibility onto something external of us. Let's say that it's the strategy. Let's say that we're not posting in the right way. Let's say that we're not selling enough, or that we need to change our website, or we need to do a rebrand. It's so much easier to pass that off into something that is external of us, rather than sitting with, but what if I am just not actually cut out for this? What if I actually just can't handle that? What if I actually just can't grow and maintain it because I'm already burnt out where I am? And I really want this episode to be for the person who does feel like they're doing all of the right things, who's pouring their love, their attention, their energy, their time, like who's really devoted into building their business, but who doesn't feel like they are generating or like seeing the results or like the sales or the success that they actually desire. On the flip side of that, I also want this to be for the person who feels like they know that they want bigger success, whether that is in hitting capacity in their business, whether that is having that location freedom and traveling the world whilst building that business, whether it's maintaining the higher kind of cash months, whatever that may look like, hiring a team. Like, and I think that's the first thing that I would like really want to touch on. And the first thing that I think everyone should understand is, what is your version of success? Because there's no one size fits all. There's no like, everyone has to have the same version of success. I have some clients who want like the massive months, who want like the six figures, who want to have the ability to hire a team and have coaches underneath them and really be that like leader and that like CEO kind of figure. But then I also have clients who quite simply just want to have enough money to scale, to have a profitable business, to travel if they want to travel, to look after themselves, but don't have any desire to have a team and don't have any desire to have like, a VA under them or whatever it may be. Like they simply just want to be self-employed, and that also gets to be okay. Like there is no one size fits all. There is no one goal that everyone has to go towards. And I think that's part of the problem, where we're all assuming that like everyone's going in the same direction. Everyone is going in the direction of building this massive business, this massive like company, and building that team and being that leader, and being that founder and having multiple different offers, and really scaling up to the six figures. And it's like that. It also gets to be okay if that doesn't appeal to you, if that doesn't like turn you on, if that isn't like what gets you going, right? Like it also gets you okay that that just isn't your version of success. And I think coming from me, I know I've opened up about that in a couple different episodes in terms of like, I've gone for versions of success that I thought I wanted that were actually for other people, and it's like that's actually not mine. And you get there and it doesn't feel as good, and it's a struggle to hold that, because it's like I have all of these things that on paper should make me happy because it's making everyone else happy, but why is it not making me happy? And it's like, well, because you've gone for building a version of success that wasn't actually yours to begin with. So I think the very first thing that you have to understand when we're going into this conversation is, what is your version of success? What does that actually look like? When you picture success and you picture having, having a thriving business, like what does that actually look like? Is it you? Is it you with a team? Is it you with location freedom, being able to work anywhere? Is it you with an office space? Is it like, when we look at like the logistic kind of, side of that, but also what's you external of that business? Is it you with a family, with a dog, with like, a beautiful home? Is it you traveling again around the world? Like, what does that actually look like for you? Like you do you literally do you build the version of success that excites you, that you look, oh my gosh, words, that you look forward to. And the second piece of that as well is, I get a lot of clients currently coming to me saying, it's not working. Like, I need to change something in my strategy. I need to do more. I need to take more off. I need to be more productive. I need this, right? And they're always moving from like, I need. And I think that's also part of the puzzle of like, where are you constantly moving from? I need to do this, change this, be more this, like become more this, right? Like, where are you putting yourself down and putting others like above you for being more productive, for getting up at 4 a.m. where you get up at like 7 a.m., for whatever the thing may be again, right? Because once you know exactly what it is that you're wanting to build, you can then begin to picture like what actually fits and slots into that and what doesn't slot into that as well. And it's easier to kind of have your hazards on, have your peripheral vision turned off, let's say, have your focus in front of you, right? In your lane, in your path. Took me so long to get there, but we got there in the end, okay? But to just focus on putting like your one foot in front of the other for your lane that you're in, right? But when it comes down to like people saying, and again, like I get this a lot from clients, I need to do more, I need to tick more off. Where are you actually already struggling? I think again, we're also so quick to like put ourselves down and be like, oh my God, I'm such a failure for this, and I'm not doing well in this. And I'm letting other people down because X, Y, and Z, because I can't do this and I can't maintain this and I can't keep up, and whatever it may be, right? But where are you actually already struggling in your business and in the tasks that you've set for yourself? Is it that you're struggling in content? Is it that you're struggling in time management? Like, where are you actually struggling? Because again, it gets to be okay that you're struggling. However, if you're constantly looking at changing the strategy rather than recognizing that you're always struggling in the same area, That's your mindset, that's not your strategy, and it's only going to amplify every single time that you change the strategy. I have so many clients of mine who come to me trying to change their schedule, trying to get up earlier so they can get more done in the day. They think it genuinely is a time problem and they have bad time management, and they're lazy and they're this and they're that. And when we actually get down to the root of it, it's like, no, you believe that you're lazy. You believe that you have to work harder and that success is going to be really, really, really hard for you to get. And it's going to be require like grit and hustle. And, you've only ever seen people build success through burnout. So, of course, you're naturally now doing the same. You're mirroring that, you're copying that, right? And it's like, it doesn't actually have to be that way. But no matter how many times that you change your strategy or you change your schedule, you're never going to stray from that, because that is what you believe about success. You believe success is going to be hard, therefore you're making it harder for you. And that's where we can really understand that, yeah, the subconscious mind is a little bit fucked, but it's really just trying to like protect you, because why would you want success if you know it's always going to be really, really hard? If you know it's going to cost you your energy, if you know it's going to cost you relationships, time with your partner, time for yourself, good mental health. I had a call literally with a client yesterday who I absolutely adore. She's literally incredible at what she does. But she came to me and she always says this to me, like, I'm always terrible at time management. Like, I'm always late. I'm always behind. I'm always overwhelmed. I'm always going. And I was like, okay, but like, why are you always going? She's like, well, I don't have a schedule. Like, I don't have an actual schedule, and I keep trying to create a schedule, and then I keep falling off the schedule, and it's like, you can see the stress that's coming through her. She's talking about it. And I was like, okay, well, why don't you have like a schedule? And she's like, well, because I always try it and then I always fail, and I always like something happens and then I don't stick to it. And it's like, okay, so you're assuming that like everything has to be perfect in your business. Everything has to be perfect in your day to day. Nothing can stray from what you've set out for that week. And as soon as it does, that's then when you're like, I failed and I'm doing something wrong. And of course, then you feel overwhelmed because you feel like you're doing something wrong. You feel like it's a you thing, right? And that again is where it's like, okay, so you've tried changing that so many times. Every single time it's come back to the same feeling of like, why can I not just do the thing? Why can I not just persevere? Why can I not just be perfect? Like, why can I not do it the same way that everyone else does it? Like, why am I failing and everyone else isn't? And it's like, that's a perfect example of where it's not actually your strategy, it actually is your mindset. Where are you struggling in your business? What have you tried? And how many times have you tried to change it as well? How many times have you tried a different strategy, a different approach, a different perspective, whatever it may be? How many times have you stopped and started? How many times have you aimed for it to be perfect? Like, but when you actually understand, like, why am I struggling? Where am I struggling? You can then understand, like, what actually needs to change. Because at the end of the day, nothing changes if nothing changes. And I am applying this to your mindset, not to your strategy. Okay. You've tried changing your strategy, it's not worked. If it actually was your strategy, by changing it, it would have worked by now. But there's a reason that you have tried changing your strategy so many times and it's still not working, because it quite literally is not a strategy problem. It is actually a mindset problem. It is actually a you problem. And I say that with love, okay? Once you understand, like, where have I struggled before? What have I tried to change? What have I tried to do? What have I tried to implement and action on? You can then understand, what do I actually need to change? And this is where I really want you to like get honest with yourself, like brutally honest. Like, okay, so I've tried changing the strategy with my content, 10 times. I've always tried to do this, and I've always said I'm going to post X amount of time per week. I'm going to speak to this. I'm going to sell X amount of times per week. Where have I set that strategy, and where have I not shown up for it, or not shown up to the best that I know that I actually could as well? Because there's a difference between actually like showing up and like giving it your all and feeling confident and standing on that conviction, and then kind of giving it 50%. And again, if you're always the person who's like giving it 50%, what are you protecting yourself from by giving it 50%? Because I can guarantee the reason that you're giving it 50% is because if you were to go all in, you're actually afraid that you would fail. So by giving it 50%, you're giving yourself an easy out. Like, oh, well, I failed because I only showed up 50% of the time. I failed because I only sold once. Like, no one's signing up because I'm only selling that one time, and that's why. It's not because it's a me problem. It's not because people don't want to sign up with me or people don't trust me. It's actually because of X. Okay, you're then protecting yourself from an outcome that you fear. That is your mindset. That is not a strategy. That is your mindset. And again, I say nothing changes if nothing changes. You can change the strategy as many times as you want. But if you don't change your mindset and you don't change your beliefs and you don't change your fears and remove your fears and rewire them, nothing is going to change. Nothing is going to get better. You're not magically going to find a strategy that fixes that for you. You're not going to find a strategy that removes your fear of failure, that removes your imposter syndrome, that allows you to walk into that room confidently because you've put on a certain outfit and you've decided that you're just going to be confident. No, if your lack of confidence is driven by that fear that other people are going to judge you, you're going to fear that judgment. And it's like, that's not a strategy. That's not something you fix just by implementing a certain thing, or by, again, standing in that mirror and affirming that you're deserving or you're this or you're that. It's like, you have to actually change your mindset in order to go and do the thing. That's why all of the strategies have never worked out. That's why you're still the person who, is burning yourself out, is always going, is always overwhelmed, because you believe that burnout is a part of success. You believe that success is going to be hard work. The same way that, you're struggling to know what to say online and how to sell and how to show up and what to post and what to say and how to say it, because you're afraid that whatever you say is not going to be met well, that people are going to see through you because maybe you're a fraud, or maybe you don't want to be seen as the expert because, yeah, people are going to see through you. People are not going to believe you. People are not going to respect you. People are not going to trust you, and then no one's going to sign up, right? It's the same reason that you give it 50%, because you feel that you're going to fail. And it's the same way that you don't want to sell and you're afraid of selling, and you're trying to sell in this half-assed way because you're afraid that someone's going to reject you. Someone's going to say no. As soon as someone says no, it means they've rejected you, right? It's like when you're on a sales call, and I see this a lot with my clients as well, like very much brushing over price, or trying to fluff up the price and try to say, oh, but this is the price, but this is what you get, and this is why it's worthy, and this is why it's valuable, and this is why you should pay it. Like, what do you think? Or if you want, I can lower the price, and blah blah blah. Like, okay, because you're actually just afraid that you're not worth the price, you're not worth the investment, and someone's going to say no to it. As soon as they say no, it just confirms that you're not worth that price, you're not worth the investment, no one trusts you, and that you're failing. Like, it actually gets to be okay. And I think this is where people are always trying to just change the strategy and look at the strategy. It actually just gets to be okay that it is a mindset problem. And it can be both, right? Because I work on both with my clients, right? There's a reason I call my sessions subconscious strategy sessions. We do strategy, but we also do subconscious work. We first look at your mindset. We first look at what needs to shift here. Like, where are we struggling? Where are we feeling that things are hard? What is actually going on, and how are we feeling in our business? How are we feeling in our life and showing up? Okay, let's understand what's blocking us here. What's holding us back here from actually building the success that we want, from actually feeling how we want to feel, feeling confident, calm, full of ease, relaxed, whatever it may be, day by day, to show up in our business. What's holding that back? Okay, let's go shift it. Now that we've shifted it, what do we want to put in place? How do we actually want to show up this month? How are we going to sell? What are we going to implement? What offer or thing feels right for you? Not that we're always doing that, right? But it's like, okay, let's look at the subconscious side, and then let's also match that up with strategy, but let's not just always lead with strategy. Because as long as you are always just leading with strategy, you're always just assuming that you are something you need to fix, and that your business is something you need to fix. And it's not that you have to fix something, it's that you need to rewire your subconscious mind. You need to rewire the thoughts and the fears and the patterns that are driving you into the burnout and the overwhelm and the panic and the fear, and keeping you stuck in this version of success you don't actually really want. I feel okay, I feel like I've made my point, but I want to just leave you with like one last note. And that is that it's okay to give yourself permission to say, this isn't working. This isn't what I want. This isn't how I want to feel in my business, in my success. It's okay, no matter at what point you're at, whether you have got the success that you thought you once wanted, whether you are in the building stages and maybe something's not feeling right. Like, give yourself permission to say, this doesn't feel right. This isn't it. This isn't for me, or this isn't what I actually wanted. Like, give yourself firstly permission to say that. And then also give yourself permission to like look inwards at, what do I actually want? How do I actually want to feel? Like, how do I want to spend my days? And this isn't to say like, oh, let's look at your ideal day in the life and let's get ChatGPT to like say and create this ideal day in the life that you should follow and step into now. It's like, no, actually, let's just understand what is it that you actually want. Like, not on paper, not because it looks good to other people, but what do you actually want? What do you actually desire? And then give yourself permission to make the changes that align with that, to remove the things that don't align with it. And no matter how difficult that may be, but it's like the longer that you neglect and avoid making those changes, the longer you are going to be stuck in this, kind of like reality that you don't actually want. So give yourself permission to make the change. Give yourself permission to move through those changes, to remove those fears, to build that confidence, to build that conviction, knowing that that is also part of the puzzle, and that's part of, I don't know why I keep going with puzzles, but that is part of the puzzle of getting you to that success you actually deep down want. And also, lastly, knowing that it is 100% possible for you. You are so much more capable than you actually give yourself credit for. Like, you've gotten yourself to this stage, and where you are now is where you once dreamed of being. Like, remember that, right? And remember that it gets to be okay that, again, it doesn't feel okay, but you did once dream of this, and you did once, dream of going self-employed, of handing in your notice, of having a couple of clients, of starting your business, of becoming your own boss. You once dreamed of that, and you're now doing it. And yeah, it might not feel the way that you wanted it to feel, and it might not feel like it's working. Everything's always working out behind the scenes. Like, I'm a massive believer in, like, the universe is always like working out for you. It's life's happening for you, not to you, right? So allow life to work for you, but also like change the things that are needed to actually realign with what you actually want, and to change with the seasons. Maybe you're going into a different season and you just want it to look a little different from the last one, right? And that also gets to be okay. So I'm going to love you guys and leave you here. I hope that you enjoyed this episode. Yeah, a little bit of a rant, a little bit of a ramble, just something that I think a lot of people need to hear. And I will see you guys in the next episode. Have a lovely day. And yeah, I'll see you guys soon. Bye.